runs into Favors, misses the shot at the rim. Jazz have a transition chance. They had 8 transition threes against the Bucks last time. This time Bogdanovich drives, goes to the basket, misses the layup. He had it, gimme. And then an outlet pass by Middleton goes well over the outstretched arms of Giannis out of bounds. Fast-paced game right now.
So that's the reason that Giannis tried to put it over the front part of the rim. Coaches always say that close, use the backboard. Would have been an easy 2.
Bojan had a good one there. Here's Mitchell. Drives left. Puts up an awkward floater, no good. Jazz aren't quite sure what Milwaukee's doing defensively. They're reacting, and then Milwaukee's doing something differently. They're changing a bunch of stuff up on the Jazz right now. Here's Antetokounmpo, gets the elbow, flares it back to Lopez. Antetokounmpo guarded by Favors. He had a pretty good game against Derek last time. Ball fakes, gives it back out. Left side, it's Augustine. He's struggling. His three's well offline, and Favors rebounds. Augustine comes in 9 of his last 31. Clarkson's cooled off a little bit, but still having mammoth moments. Guarded by Middleton, drives in the lane, off balance, fouled, and finishes 14 feet out on the angle left off a left-footed fader. He puts it up and in. It's 18-15. Utah. Clarkson will go to line. Ron, what's your thought on Milwaukee? 2 years ago, they go 60-22. They lose in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Raptors. Then last year, they're 56-17. They're on the way to 60-plus wins. They lose in the semis to Miami in a 5-game series. Giannis struggles in that series. He shot just 45% against Toronto. This year, they've yet to beat any of the top 4 teams in either conference.
What makes you worry? Okay, what type of team do we have? And if we haven't beat those teams now, when it comes to a 7-game series and they have time to prep for us, how do we beat them?
And their philosophy has been this approach of allowing you to shoot threes, foul on Donovan off the ball. And you wonder whether or not the league's getting better at shooting threes. It is. And is that philosophy not going to hold as much? Torrey Craig, who you remember well from the Denver Nuggets and the playoff series, now in Milwaukee, signed for the minimum. Great pickup by their front office. Checks into the game. Here's Antetokounmpo driving hard at O'Neal, kicks to the corner. Lopez will fire the corner 3 and hit. Antetokounmpo has 4 assists already. 3 of them for threes, and it's 19-18. They're hedging hard on the picks here. Donovan drives, one-on-one, draws the foul, finishes on a floater over Craig. All right, Rob, this is really interesting. If you're a basketball junkie, and hopefully if you listen to Ron and I, you know you get that kind of stuff and like it. So Milwaukee's been known as a team that just drops the big and puts Lopez at the rim, and that's all they did. Last year they allowed 29% of opponent shots at the rim, like historically low level. Tonight we've seen switching, we've seen a hedge, we've seen a trap. We actually haven't seen them drop the big yet.
So what I have to figure out here is who they're hedging on and who they're dropping the big on, who has the basketball. And maybe that's the key on what they're...
Jazz are fighting through all this and lead at 22-18. Augustine working the top. Out of the University of Texas, ninth pick of the draft, was in Orlando the last few years. Lines up O'Neal, chests it over to Connaughton, another bench player struggling. Shoves off on Clarkson, puts up a right-hand push shot and in. Connaughton is 5 of his last 18 coming in. So those 2 guys have struggled. This bench unit, Donovan, rise and fire over Torrey Craig, swirls deep in the cup and comes out. Giannis with the rebound, his 5th of the game already. To the front court, gives it out to Augustine. He'll fire the 3. It's no good. Wow, it's not close. Favors barely rebounds it because it came off at such a strange angle. 4:30 left. Number 1 offense in Milwaukee against number 3 offense in Utah, you can tell. Beautiful rotation, leaves Royce O'Neal wide open for a 3, and he airballs it. Loose ball, Favors has it. Torrey Craig goes up, tumbles over the top of Derek Favors, and hits hard on the left side of his body. He went up to block Favors. Favors pump faked, and Craig literally catapulted over Derek Favors, and he's now sitting up. Thank goodness you heard Ron say, ooh, you hear the silence in the crowd. The trainers are out immediately. I actually think he might be okay.
Well, he came down more on his back and left side.
Yeah, I just don't think he has his wind right now.
Yeah, that's probably what happened.
Wow. The lasting impact is he might not go for a block shot for a little while. That had to be terrifying.
Derek could have gone on up and probably made that worse if he went ahead and elevated to shoot the basketball. He didn't do that, and the Jazz are going to end up taking it out of bounds on the side.